All right, I guess Proof is signaling me to intro. So welcome back into Game 2, guys, of eHug 4 versus Top 5. eHug falling Game 1 as Top 5 takes the 1-0 advantage and getting back to some very reminiscent bans from Game 1. Clockwork and Prophet make an exit. Newly banned this time around, Lycan as well as Marana. Not liking the Marana pickup this time for themselves, eHug elects to ban it out against. So Top 5 given the opportunity to pick one of many AA, Visage, as well as a few others that slipped through the first half of the ban phase, but instead going with their own Invoker this time around. And eHug respond with Bane Elemental immediately in Batrider, and teams again just jumping straight into the picks and bans before I can even turn over to Proof.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, had to grab some water real quick. We're gonna see an Invoker again. Out of top 5, so switching it up a little bit on these teams. Remaining. Top 5 did get first pick this time as well. So it's exciting to see that first eHug got first pick. They picked up the Invoker. Top 5 gets picked up. They pick up the Invoker. It seems like he's kind of a valued commodity.
He was influential, but he also was the bane of that particular game. Ryu contributed early to something like 4 Sunstrike kills in the first 20-something minutes, maybe 23 minutes, and eventually he was the reason that it all fell apart there at the end on the mid-racks, as well as a few pick situations, unfortunately, against him.
Yeah, he was very influential earlier on in the game, but then he kind of fell off, and I feel like it was almost because eHug really should have forced some earlier fights, and they had a decent enough lead, I think, to do so with how well the Marana did and how early the Invoker got their force staff. But we never saw that. They're trying to split push and kind of get more farm and experience, and as a result, they continued to get picked off, rather. So I think it was interesting. I don't know if some larger team fights out of eHug would have paid off for them, but definitely how they went about having their team just kind of give some kills away throughout the whole part of the game did not help. That gave top 5 so many opportunities.
Anytime you let a lifestealer that deep into the game, you have to worry. They ban him out as a result of the Bane pickup, knowing they would have no opportunity to counter with one of the only supports that truly locks him down in the game, the other being a Naga Siren who is already banned away. So maybe signaling that they were indeed going to pick up the Bane. So a little bit of a game of chess being played between the two teams. Off lane still needing to be picked up, and we'll see where the Batrider gets placed. He's been favoring the off lane as of late in just about every game I've watched, over mid lane where he started out against an indomitable hero at the time, which was the Templar Assassin.
He's good in so many different lanes, and even if push comes to shove, he can go into the jungle as well. So he has options. So if you pick him up earlier on in the game, or in the draft rather, he gives your team options. So if the state of the draft changes and you need to do a different lineup than you originally had in mind, Batrider still fits into that strategy. He's still a really good initiator once he gets that blink dagger, and he's pretty safe in a lane too. His laning phase is just incredibly strong. Some really decent bursts coming out of eHug at this point with that Lina. If you pull somebody back with that lasso and Batrider, and then you have that huge Laguna nuke to come on top of that, that's a dead hero really quickly. So somebody like Invoker, if he gets caught up by that, that can be really scary for top 5, losing that AoE team fight right off the bat.
I'm a big fan of some team fight, I have to say. The only time I don't like... Really not doing so hot on the microphone tonight. I thought I would be. I was going to say, I'm a huge fan of early team fight. I really am. I think that it allows such diverse elements to kind of come forward and showcase individual talent amidst a 5-man engagement, and it really emphasizes how well your positioning is, and did you really initiate how you wanted to actually engage a fight. So the last thing I'll mention is the fact that if you go too heavy of 5-man carry team, you might run into a lineup like top 5 had last time around that lives or dies by it. If you do effectively fail and you have someone out farm you or even refuse to engage, similar to a Chinese strategy, it almost
5
negates the
seconds
entire thing,
remaining.
so very volatile structure. But I'm happy to see someone pushing a team like
Reserve
eHug, who is
time.
very individually talented, like Top5, who has had some recent success in CEVO this season, and we've had a chance to even be a part and cast with them
Radiant
some of that
team pick.
success.
Well, they're gonna grow. They are a really new team, and I agree with you that they have some really good individual talent, and it's just gonna be a matter of experience. CEVO gives that experience is really good. The Monster Invitational was some really good experience for them as well, and playing on land is totally different from playing in these online tournaments. And while eHug is doing really good in CEVO, I think it might be a little rougher for them to handle those lands. It's a lot of pressure. It's stressful, but
10
it was still
seconds
really good
remaining.
experience for them. So they're gonna continue here. Hopefully, this won't be the end of their
5 seconds
streak with
remaining.
CEVO at their 4-0. But Top 5 is definitely giving them a run for their money. Vengeful
Reserve
Spirit is
time.
picked up from Top 5. That helps out a lot with the Batrider initiation. If you have a really crucial hero gets picked by that Batrider as the lasso target and pulls them back, you can always have that Vengeful Spirit jump in, swap them out, and save them. And then you lose the Vengeful Spirit and you don't lose a really good hero like a carry or like Invoker. You can always have that VS as the sacrificial lamb if you need them to. So that's been a really popular strategy lately, having that VS picked up for Batrider.
It has, but I also like the depth that VS applies to a team, gives a damage aura, doesn't quite do the same stun set that a Visage would have, but
10
as
seconds
influential as
remaining.
Sheep was on Visage last time around, and this time around, we'll see a
Dire
Vengeful
team
pair
battle.
up with the AA, and I think it's a more reliable stun combination to have a Magic Missile. Very solid roam hero as well to note, so we'll keep an eye on Vengeful on the early stages of the game. Top 5 not necessarily known for using the jungle, but they are not afraid to
Radiant
take
team
risks
back.
in the slightest and actually roam out immediately from lane, as well as aggressively position themselves to kill an off lane. So we'll see how eHug wants
Dire
to
team
position
pick.
their off lane. They might not even have to show up to it, to be dead honest with you, but at the same time, Top 5 still needs to pick up a carry. eHug catering to the mid game with a Slaughter pickup, follows through with the Bounty, who very
Radiant
individually
team
talented
pick.
hero, but not very impactful on the team fight unless he actually nukes out one hero.
So we're gonna have this Slardar, who's gonna be a very important hero this game for eHug because he is gonna be the carry of choice, and I think he's a really good hero, but he can fall off late game. So depending on what Top 5 picks up, this could be scary for eHug. But I feel like Bounty Hunter is a good pickup to follow up with this
10
lineup as their
seconds
fifth,
remaining.
because if you start off rough, you have that Bounty Hunter to get back in the game, and if you start
5
off
seconds
good,
remaining.
that Bounty Hunter is going to be giving you kills throughout the game, and your Slardar is going to be more farmed than someone else on the Top 5 team. Doombringer is the pickup of choice, and how is this lane gonna be set up for Top 5? What do you think in terms of how they can lane this? Do you send Doom jungler, or do you just go ahead and send him to the off lane? But then
I think they recognize the fact that Batrider might not be present in lane. We saw Doom farm the last time around, and I think we see Doom
Prepare
farm
for
again
battle.
in this particular lineup. There's probably no way around it. You then have Puck on your off lane, fly on mid lane, because Shanks is their off lane player. So it makes sense. Very mobile hero. Is only going to have to go up against then Lena Bane. Not an easy combination to avoid, especially when you have triple stun to follow it up. But if anyone can manage something to that effect, I'd say it has to be Puck.
all right, well, let's go ahead with some introductions, and I will take Top 5 this time. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm just gonna say what their names are. For what
Just know that Zon 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 is 1, 2, 3.
Zon
That's
Zon
it.
Zon is 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody else is pretty much what they say they are. So Shanks is going to be on this Puck. A lot of heroes here for eHug. I was kind of worried, but luckily Fly is
30
way far back,
seconds
so
to
he's going to
battle.
be your mid invoker this game. 1, 2, 3 on the Doom, also Zon Zon Zon. 3, 2, 1 is going to be on Vengeful Spirit, and whatever will be on the AA.
All right, and for eHug, we have Ryu on Batrider, actually headed towards mid lane. Pandago on Bane Elemental, Cakes on the Bounty Hunter off lane, Jigglebilly on Slardar, and Sheep on the Lena.
battle
It looks like
begins.
Bane as well as Lena support Jiggle top side with the Bounty Hunter Cakes in the off lane this time around, as well as the last time had the Weaver there. And I think it's interesting to move Bat in middle against Invoker. I'm not sure how strong it's going to be, but definitely will keep an eye on it, as both teams have very roam heavy heroes. One thing that interests me that I haven't seen a lot of in amateur Dota, I would like to see more of, is confidence in micro skills on someone like Chen or Enchantress. Very good roam heroes, being that they can take away those abilities from the creeps, and they're not spending their mana, they're spending the creeps mana. That's big.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really see those heroes too much in amateur. But at least we get heroes like Visage, who is a little bit micro-intensive. Top lane, Shanks is in some trouble. Stomp's gonna come through from Juco Billy. He's down. There's no way to get out of this. Illusory Orb, still 1 second on cooldown. Ama Sheep Suck almost goes down, but the tower goes ahead and aggroes on Pandago instead. So very close, but that's a really decent pick off for them. And Slardr's gonna have a great time farming. We saw Jugo Billy get some decent farm up on the bottom last game, and he's gonna have the same thing happen this game. Ooh, Ryobor is in the mid lane, gets cold snapped into oblivion. Doesn't go down, barely lives. 7 stacks on fly, so it's very tempting for Ryu to go in on that. He does already have bottle, and that's big. He went straight for it, no region whatsoever.
Yeah, Firefly up is going to take down quite a few of these creeps and manage to control, hopefully, what he perceives to be the 2-minute rune. If he gets that, he's sitting pretty as Fly is forced to respond to what's going on, intelligently has a magic stick, and should control the ebb and flow for the most part of this lane. With 3-2-1 rotating over to see if he can make something happen, and we're going to have to keep an eye on him as Cakes is in a lot of trouble right on top of a sentry. Goes down to 1 stun so far. Can he escape the second? Cold Feet ticking. Does a fair amount of damage, but doesn't trigger off the stun, and therefore they don't spot him out. Nearly level 3, though, is Cakes immediately grabbing at the Invis rune, missing, getting stunned, magic missile applied, but still able to get away, knowing that in moments away he had his shadow walk up yet again. So really solid job trying to at least contest it. Both heroes spamming a right click on top of the rune. 3-2-1, just in better positioning than the bounty hunter could be.
Cakes does need to be careful, though. Leeching experience in the jungle is a really good idea, but you have to make sure you're doing it safely. If you get caught out, it's bad news. You have even a net on the Doom, so that's 3 forms of stun out of top 5's trailing, and that's scary. Not many heroes can really survive through that, and Bounty Hunter is definitely one of them.
Ugh, bottle crowing so painful to watch on the 2-minute marker now that the courier can't get upgraded till the 3-minute mark. I mean, the fact that he lost that rune is actually huge. He's moving over to the jungle, seeing if he can do something right there. The bottle will be returning, but Fly now will have relatively uninhibited experience and farm until Batrider can get going with the bottle. So bottle forthcoming, just is simply going to stack in the meantime over at the jungle. He has no right to take down that camp as he already has no mana to his name. And again, a minute sitting away from the rune. Pings come out on mid lane, 3-2-1 present, seeing if he can get another gank, this time successfully so, up against eHug as Ryu chugs down the bottle. Courier following him with the speed applied. Is he actually going to send it back? I'm surprised Fly hasn't taken a run at the courier yet, but instead, right clicks come down on Ryu. Bottle is exchanged with the courier. Speed is already gone, so again, he's going to snail his way back over with Shanks on the hill nearby, looking to see if they can potentially gank on mid side. Again, a situation where top 5 caught flat-footed on their support. At least whatever is making decent traction over in the jungle, trying to make something happen, but Vengeful still level 2 as a result. 4 minutes into the game, not able to make any impact whatsoever that has been seen, with Batrider kind of trying to take control. Haste grabbed by Bounty. So again, no rune up for eHug.
It's rough for Ryu. He definitely needs it. He's still forced to bottle crow. At least the courier is upgraded, so it is a little bit faster. But it is indeed still rough. Cake's looking for some experience in this jungle. No detection. Actually, there is some dust on whatever. He could get caught out here, but 3-2-1 throws the stun out a little bit too early. They'll see if they can still get it. Wasn't quite expecting the dust to come on through. He's going to trade it. He's going to get the kill on VS, but goes down in the process.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Venge doesn't need the levels, and Bounty certainly fed away a Doom that he didn't necessarily need to. Although Ancient Apparition takes the last hit, it's rather irrelevant to me. Doom already has phase boots just under 4 minutes into the game, going into the 6 minute right now, and now an exchange on middle. Ryu thinking that he could take down the Invoker, dodges the Illusory Orb from Puck. Puck jumps forward though. Can he get the last hits off? One more is all it took, and Shanks, supporting very well on his mid lane, manages to take down an offensive Ryu who has not had the best of luck to start out this engagement.
Yeah, and I feel like generally Batrider could get a decent enough pickoff on an Invoker earlier on in the game, but it just hasn't worked out for him. The tower has been really defending Fly very well this game, and it's just, I guess he's going in at the inopportune times, unfortunately for him. But there's still plenty that Batrider can do this game for sure, and kind of getting caught between two heroes here is going to be Fly in 3-2-1, maybe baiting out Ryu and Pandago. They are alone. I'm not quite sure what's going on. They're going to run into Pandago. He's just going to get bursted down here, but reinforcements do arrive. He sleeps himself to save himself. Illusory Orb comes in. Fly gets lassoed right off the bat. VS down. Fly soon to follow after this, and Shanks. He's deep. He's already used everything to try and get out of this by just getting into the fight,
God.
and he goes down. That's 3 kills to eHug. They only lost
Where's
Alina. Oh, he can't.
Doom?
He could have TP'd, I guess, but he's only level 6 right now. He
he only has the most influential ability in the entire game right now.
I don't feel like he would have gotten there in time, though, to really save anybody on the team. Maybe he could have saved Shanks, but Invoker was definitely dead. VS was most definitely dead. And
he could have saved Shanks, in my opinion, for certain.
He
and
could,
possibly bought him enough time to get away at minimum.
But could he have gotten a kill? Could he have gotten the kill? He might have saved Shanks.
Oh yeah, Batrider was out of gas.
Yeah, I don't know. He would have lost farm on bottom in the process. So if he didn't get a kill and didn't save Shanks, it would have been
all
bad.
right. I'll concede it. You can be right if you just want to be right.
I don't know. It's an interesting debate.
Yeah, no, you're right. In some ways, I think that it really is 50-50. I was hoping he would show up because he was level 6. I imagine he would have had plenty to cast the Doom. So I just really like when team fights get underway. Batrider training back and forth is gonna be the benefactor of a large sum of money, enough so to buy himself a blink dagger in a matter of moments here. So all goes down, and when it's said and done, he even has a regen. He doesn't need to go back to base, but the courier is forthcoming towards Bane Elemental, who is actually grabbing a wards and magic stick. Oh, how uneventful. Gank forthcoming on mid, though. In the meantime, Fly in a lot of trouble, slept away. Ryu debating going on him, actually elects not to. EMP follow-up by Fly is going to kind of push him back, though they were more or less just evading it, I think, just feeling one another out as both teams push towards the tier 1. Lina capable of pushing that much quicker, though, against top 5.
Bounty Hunter throwing up some tracks on these bottom lane heroes. He knows that if they do try to push down this tower, he could have some allies come in, and if you have those tracks up, that bonus gold is going to be great if you can secure some kills, but it's hard. You can get the VS and the AA, but Doom isn't going down without a fight. He's very tanky. Even at level 7, he's sitting at about 1200 HP and has the drums and magic wand on top of that, or magic stick rather. So it's kind of hard. And Batrider jumps in on some mid lane. Fly in some trouble once again. It's Fiend's Grip. They stacked their stuns. This could be bad, but they still managed to get the kill. It was a close one. I thought maybe Ghost Walk, get out of the fire really quickly, but nope. He went down anyways.
Yeah, well, follow up here from 3-2-1, seeing if he can get in a decent position. They have an obs, but it's not going to spot him. Ryu moves towards bottom lane as they follow. They don't know that Cakes is also around the corner, so 3-2-1 could potentially create a poor situation if they're not careful. Cakes spots out some company. Ryu contemplates going, but doesn't have the flame lasso up, and I bet that is a huge factor right now as they kind of move away. Invis about to expire. They might see Bounty Hunter. They do, as he gets a track up immediately on AA and just kind of motions away. So Bounty Hunter is allowed to get a whole lot of farm out of this bottom lane. He's already level 7 with phase boots against Doom, all because they didn't zone him as heavily as they potentially could have. And I don't know how much I prefer that. If he gets on the roll towards snowballing, we're in a lot of trouble. Smoke Gank forthcoming. You have Sheep right around the corner with Ryu to follow. If they can land the first stun, that's all they need to lock down the puck. Not yet. Following up, Slardar trying to throw up a stun, gets silenced, but Shanks still not enough to get away. I don't think he did that in a correct order. So moves away from Slardar, is actually stunned out as a result, but doesn't even need to be.
1, 2, 3, trying desperately to get somebody, but in the backfield, Lina does go down. It's just a Lina. It's not a huge deal, so the supports do fall there. The main heroes get away. They take down the puck and the Invoker in the process. So really good pickoffs for eHug once again. 7-5. 10-minute marker, so let's go ahead and check out the graphs here. 15k to 12k, so leading in the way for eHug, also leading in experience for eHug. And this isn't even really any track kills. We haven't seen Cakes rotating at all, so that's some good solid money. Also, no towers down in this game either, so really solid, just farming and killing experience and gold coming out of both of these teams. But
I think
game. It is. Slaughter games are so exciting. I think he's one of the most exciting heroes. I think it's exciting when someone like a Mag gets in there and stomps like 3 or 4 heroes, but when Slaughter gets in there, it's such a low cooldown. It deals damage through BKB, and it stuns. It stuns and it slows. It's such
super
a good
inexpensive
skill.
as well. God.
Yeah.
Considering
and
you don't pay for
Dagger
sprint anymore too.
Yeah, Blink Dagger changes with no mana. Sprint changes with no mana costing. He has the mana to use that stomp plenty of times within a fight.
Oh, absolutely. I think that we just need to be careful. It's him against Doom, but he actually went for the Midas, so we'll see if eHug can translate it. They already have Bat to jump in, so he didn't necessarily need to rush the Blink Dagger, but he could potentially go for a Blink Dagger early on. Has track to follow up the later stages of a game, coupled with the Midas. Bane looking to just slow down Zon, but they don't know that, so they actually looked to respond as 4 heroes were converging on middle, but they all back off, with AA sending an ultimate towards top, seeing if he can actually catch out Jiggle, but Jiggle's movement again has been pretty good thus far. Shanks gonna get initiated on Ryu right over the hill. Ryu looking to initiate, jumps on, Flame Lasso applied. They need to follow it up with a stun shortly here. Invoker there to try and follow it up. Will Puck live? No, the damage is enough, not able to phase out, and even if he did, the fire would still be on the floor and potentially have burned him to death, more than likely so he goes down in exchange for no one, as AA had the ultimate on cooldown.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Jiggle Billy barely got out of that, and it would have been a bad trade if the Slaughter had gone down, but you're keeping this Puck shut down. He just barely hits that level 6, and that's scary. That's kind of the defeats of a Puck when he's stuck in that off lane and not in the mid lane. He has some trouble getting experience. Cakes might just be getting baited here. He is. He puts the track on Fly, but it doesn't matter. He's there all alone. They were ready for that pro baiting coming out of them.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Batrider looking to finish up Forstaff as Invoker looks to initiate, blinks to safety though. Good movement right there to keep himself alive. He has a double damage rune, but doesn't need it. Flame Break to slow the damage down on the tier 1 tower that is yet to take any damage prior to this initiation. So goes down to half. Still no fortification spent. Slaughter is coming. 1, 2, 3 in a lot of trouble. Enfeebled already. Bane looking to see what he can do. Gets Cold Snap. Puck initiation. Follow up now. Ult on 2. Actually still Pandago doing a great job to live. Doom finally applied over to finish him off. Will it though, as they're still battling this one out. It looks like advantage top 5 though, as all of eHug is on the run. Jiggle in trouble. Goes down. Fly. Last hit awarded there. Cakes in the wings, waiting to see if he can grab someone. Fly it is. Cakes initiating on. Janata strikes. Follow up from Lina, stuffing him out. Shanks next on the list. Can they catch up in time though, as Shanks illusory orbs away. Doom there to back it up. 20 seconds away from Mech again. Now Cakes gets turned on and obliterated. They didn't have enough gas in the tank. I called it as it was happening, but unfortunately, very hard to see unless you're in their shoes. You want so badly to strike back sometimes that it costs you your own life. It was indeed, though, an overextension that he might have just seen too late.
Ryu jumps on whatever on this bottom lane. He's completely out of mana. Doesn't really have much. Could fire off an ultimate, but there's really no point. Ryu just stands there with whatever burning in the fire. So really easy kill for Ryu. Not a really important kill, but it's a good pickoff. He was safe in doing so. There is no tower for anybody to TP to help that AA
it's
out.
It's his force staff, though.
Yeah, and that's great. He now has 2 forms of initiation, and one of those will help him get away in the process of this. So I think Ryu has had a really good game.
He finished it up before that.
Yeah, it was done. It was on the way to him. So he finished that and now has even more money in the bank.
Yeah, that's huge. He's had a great start to the game, although he went bottle. He lost out on the early investment, and like I said, eHug hasn't had the best luck, but where they're not having the best luck, they do have some very sound play to back themselves up. 5-man Dota out of top 5, headed towards the top lane. Only hero missing is AA, who again whiffs ultimate. No ultimate for this fight, and I think that's huge. They need it to finish off heroes like the last time Doom had to spend Doom just to kill
Radiant's
Bane
middle tower is
when they
under
potentially
attack.
could have applied that to another hero had they had a shatter combination on a hero that was that low. So the pressure still rains down. eHug not looking to respond. Instead, they elect to trade out the mid lane with Slardar leading the charge in on a tower that is already below 500 HP, and Batrider still continuing to farm out with a Portentous possession. Top 5 not wanting to let it go. Puck ultimate right on Cakes. Cakes not able to get away from this one. Good EMP to finish off as Fly attains a kill on Bounty Hunter. Following up on Sheep. Sheep stunned away. Good stun out of a Centaur ability. So War Stomp off the Doom. Spends a lot of mana but assures yet another kill. Puck, the benefactor of that last hit with Batrider, managing to pick off AA, who was last to join the party and did not have his port available because he joined the top excursion a little bit late.
Cakes has had a rough game. Track hasn't been a big factor in this game so far ever. He's 1-4. He hasn't gotten in a whole lot of fights, and any fight he has gotten into, he's gotten picked off pretty early on too. So it's been a really rough game for him, and he's got to try and get his team back into it. But again, we're 16 minutes into this game, and it's 11-11, so really even score again this game, 26k to 22k. So eHug is still leading despite not getting those track kills under their belt. 27k to 22k in terms of the experience, so also winning in that regard. Top 5 has got a little bit to make up, and I feel like the spots that they're lacking at this point was, for one, we haven't seen very many Invoker pickoffs in this game thus far, and also Puck. He hasn't been a big impact player so far, being in the off lane. He's gotten literally no farm. Just look at this, 10 creep kills, 2, 4, and 5 on top of that. So he's 4th from the bottom. That's not generally something that you see on a Puck.
I definitely agree that Puck, even while being off lane, has still not managed to have the best of games, but at least he's got 7 assists to his name. Like 7 out of 11 kills is a lot to partake in. I think he's been a pivotal player, although he's yielded a few early deaths. We knew he had to be worried about that triple stun lineup, so just hats off at least to Shanks for his performance in both of these games, contributing well ahead to his team's victory. And it goes right back into what I was saying about just off-lane players sometimes are the intangible element that you can't track statistically. Statistically, he doesn't look great on paper right now. Even with the 5 assists, he only has 2 kills to his name. But at the same time, he is the sole reason that many of these heroes have been locked into place and killed out. And that is why Top 5 managed to find themselves in a favorable position this game. And although the goal graph doesn't necessarily reflect it, I still think Top 5 currently are in control of this game.
I do agree with you. And spotting out that Roshan with this ward here, it kind of spotted everybody that was roaming over to it. So good spot out, good ward placement. Ult scares them away from doing it as well. And I kind of wonder too, you knew that they were doing it. So was there, do you think, a possibility for them to jump on it? You had 4 heroes around this area and AA on the bottom lane. So they could have gotten there in time. The question is, would have it been a good fight for them to do so?
Sorry, would it have been a good fight to do so?
Yeah, to fight at Roshan. I'm a Sheep is going to go
no,
down.
I don't think so. I think Top 5 needs to take down towers. Yeah, I'm a Sheep goes down. No, I really don't think so. Sorry, I don't mean to be so disengaged. I was just trying to look over some stat numbers and really find where this divide is coming from, because it's like the experience is even in favor of eHug, yet Top 5 still are managing the map better. And maybe that's what it is. You can't exactly track map movement. I wonder if you took units moved into account on a team, and like for professional measurement purposes, and take that into account as a statistic, how it would actually balance out. Like if it would be something that's influential. Do you imagine so?
That'd be neat. Yeah, I would like to see that stat. I think it'd be pretty cool to see how movements affect the competitive scene. That would be a really cool stat, but is it
Sorry, that's where
possible?
my mind was while you were asking the question. Invoker initiating right now on Slardar. Jigglebilly in a lot of trouble. Cold Snap and Doom applied. He's not going to be able to wiggle his way out of this one, and he goes down. As a result, still, Cakes right next to them. Just applied. Does manage to catch him out. Can they catch? Invoker drums popped away. That is his charge 5, but Track, as a result, staves off the attack, and they are forced to go back. He would have just out-accelerated them in terms of move speed, but sometimes it is very hard to get that track off, and having such a low turn rate early on as a bounty hunter and not enough movement.
Sardar going for the BKB needs about 1,200 more gold to finish that off, but it's gonna help against Puck, gonna help against AA, Invoker, doesn't help too much against Doom, Swap can go through it. So it's going to be interesting, but it definitely takes him up a lot. That's a good front line for eHug, and I think that's what they need. Cakes can't really get in there and do too much damage just because he gets bursted down so quickly. So if you can have a bigger front line in that Slardar so that when he gets in, he blinks and he stomps, you have a lot of time, and after that, he's going to be able to tank up quite a bit of damage. And if he can tank up that damage and live longer, that just gives him another opportunity to stun. So really good pickup on that BKB, but it's going to hurt his damage a little bit.
Stoke my fire.
I don't know how much BKB necessarily hurts damage. It does provide a damage edge, and it's just survivability more than anything. So I think that it will contribute, and it's not going to be so much of a detriment. But we'll see exactly how it pans out as eHug has managed to cling to life on their last tier 1, and this has not given top 5 an opportunity to enter Roshan Pit. eHug has the better Roshan team, but still haven't been able to initiate because of how much AA is spamming out the ult. But on the flip side of that, AA spammed out his ult so much, it hasn't been available in team fights, and it's not a good situation to be in. Jiggle, kind of on the wrong side of the tracks, maybe gets spotted out in a moment here if they see him. Fly manages to not see him narrowly.
I think
His
the
line
vision.
was exactly. God, that is so very close. There was, I believe, a smoke up. Bane still kind of looking around. They're seeing if they're doing Roshan because they're all missing, but instead they're actually hunting for one another. And top 5 maybe looking for the go-ahead on this tier 1 tower. eHug forced to respond, start moving over this way with Cakes in the background. Cakes will walk over a sentry if he elects to do that. So unfortunately, they won't be able to do much. With the courier forthcoming, though, he might be able to get something pretty sweet here if he is just patient. There it is. He sees it. Finally, waiting for it the whole time. Janata on the courier in exchange for the tower. That's going to be enough to justify that trade. It was going to go down anyways, and they were in no position to initiate it. And actually, all the better for them, because unbeknownst to them, there's a sentry sitting right there that would have spotted him out coming in, and it might have been an ugly exchange for eHug had they not done it that way.
Yeah, I think it was a solid trade. You pick up the courier and trade for a tower, and that's a really good trade for eHug because the tower is always going to be there. The courier isn't. So if you get that kill, not only does it give you the gold, but it also makes the courier down for the 2.5 minutes or so, 3 minutes. So it's great. Jiggle Billy on this top lane. He's in some trouble. Finally gets hit by the AA ultimate, but has the back of nearby Doom pulled out with the lasso. Jiggle Billy back in action with a stun. The track is applied. He doesn't make it out of there alive. Fly trying to do something to take down Jiggle Billy. Manages to take him down, but he should pay for it with his own life. Pandago's here as well. They're going to chase past the tower. Rightfully so. Wanting to back up, but they can't make it in time. Recoil catches 2. Pandago's trying to make it out of here alive, but he doesn't make it either. He goes down. That's 3 down for eHug. Batrider ditched that fight because he was so hurt from those Invoker auto attacks. I thought Fly was dead, but he turned it around. That tower was there for all these TPs to come through.
eHug just obliterated in the team fight. Nothing they could do about it. Now AA ult follow-up on mid lane puts Batrider in a sticky predicament with Shanks right around the corner looking to maybe follow that up had he stayed. So good awareness there from him, but eHug struggling to come up with answers for what top 5 is doing, and they just seem to have the better synergy this evening. They've had a long day. In terms of games, I think they might have played 3 in total before this, and I don't know if it was today, but someone was mentioning EG had managed to oust them in 9 minutes. So anytime you have that happen, even recently, morale definitely goes down for a team. But this is a very talented individual group. They just need to manage to string things together. That starts by taking control of the map. They are doing the correct things to attempt to take control of the map, though. They have assertion on their side of the jungle with both obs side by side doing the same thing. Fly spotting out Sheep in a lot of trouble. 4 staff away. Can he get away? Shanks there to follow it up. Will go down. Follow up though from Batrider trying to Flame Lasso. Flame Lasso will follow through. Manages to grab on. VS swap out though. Staves it off. And now Slaughter gonna trade 3-2-1. Bounty Hunter there as well. Track gold flowing if they can manage to keep it through. Ryu blinks on top. Flame break over to the side. Not back. BKB forced out. Fly trying to run. Stunned out. 2 stuns. Shanks comes out of phase shift. Can they get 2? They do. They have all of it proved if they can manage to finish off Puck. And now Jiggle lays the hammer down and follows it all up and throws it towards eHug's court. Blink ahead again. Ryu trying to make things happen. AA in the wings trying to support 1, 2, 3. Doom on cooldown. Still has mech to his name, and they are not going to be able to chase down any further kills, but they've managed to take out 3 thus far. Fly trying to get re-involved in this. Throws out a tornado. Doesn't manage to catch Bounty. Does anyone have any form of dust? It is on Fly, but Fly doesn't think twice about popping it just yet. Slardar needing to get away and blink off. But again, eHug comes up huge there, only trades away the Bane for all of that, and still somehow don't manage to get that tier 1 down quite yet.
Yeah, they're defending it good, except for that other last fight. Didn't really go so well for them, unfortunately. And I gotta look at the gold to see just how beneficial that was for eHug. It was, I believe, 2 track kills on that. So 44k, 39. It's not a huge difference still. It's still a very, very close game, but I think eHug is strong at this point in the game. With that Slardar Blink Dagger and the Batrider Blink Dagger, they have a lot of initiation. And while they don't have a very, very, very hard carry, neither does top 5. So these team fights are going to be really interesting. And I think Cakes is going to start coming into play with that track bonus gold being really, really effective for eHug. He's just got to continue to get in on these fights. But in the past, 5 to 7 minutes, he's done a pretty good job in doing just that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Putting some pressure on this bottom tower, though, but they've got to be careful not to get caught out.
eHug finally asserting some map control over on the bottom side. I really...
Batrider jumps in, grabs out Invoker. Fly is really, really far away from his team. Did you see that drag link? Yeah. That was like 2 screens.
Yeah, it's just because 4 staff is the real deal.
Insane.
No big deal. I was gonna say, I found out it's not me. It is actually the microphone. The microphone's built-in mute button. I'm gonna have to switch over to like a hotkey because every time, like, there are indeed times where I hit it and it doesn't unmute. So
that's weird.
It is imperfect in its construction. So I apologize for kind of stutter stepping some of this particular broadcast, but this opens up a window to at least start in on Roshan. AA going to spot it out. Will they elect to back off? They have the vision to see that no one is coming to follow up. Jiggle's in a lot of trouble if he does manage to continue, though. And again, forced off Roshan. They can melt him away simply because of that, amp damage. But still, it looks like instead they may forfeit Roshan, recognizing how low they have the team. But they don't, so they back off. So top 5 still not having any interest or care if the other team gets Roshan, other than AA just kind of throwing some threes from downtown.
I think they could have gotten it. Batrider was on the top lane. All 3 of these heroes were running back. I think they would have had enough time to finish off Roshan. You have the VSR too, which would have really helped out in securing that. But, we have a lot more vision and intelligence here that top 5 doesn't have. We can see much, not intelligence, but like intel intelligence, that kind of intelligence. I'm by all means not smarter than eHug. Trust me, they are doing a fantastic job as Dota players. But intel is more what I meant. They didn't have the intel that we had. We could have seen that it would have been a good idea to go in, but I don't think they have.
The vision,
I'm not blaming the team, I promise.
Puck jumping in, Shakes right on top of Sheep, in trouble. Pandago trying to support. Brilliant silence out of Shakes, who continues on Bane. Bane cold snap up, won't get away. Venge swap. AA ultimate again forthcoming, misses, and the sleep is enough to live. Coming from behind is Cakes trying to get a track up and just get his team out of harm's way as eHug concede 1, nearly 2, and I'm shocked. I really am shocked that they didn't manage to take down the rest. They recognize Roshan is about a 3rd health down. Flame Break comes in to scout things through, and instead top 5 bounce away as Jiggle digs in on the top tier 2. What a weird engagement. Bane living by the skin of his teeth due to AA not being able to connect.
It was really close. It was a really good sleep, but Juan definitely helping out there. Rather Stick, my bad. I get confused on those icons for some reason, but Stick helping out quite a bit. So Bane did live to see another day. I think we're going to see a really fun Roshan fight come down. I don't think eHug is going to be able to sneak it in. It goes down pretty fast, though, with Slardar's ultimate. So if they can have all 5 heroes there, they can do it fast enough. And AA's worried. All of top 5 knows that there is going to be a Roshan that will happen sometime very, very soon for eHug. So they're continuing to scout that out. And you know, if you know that the ultimate from AA goes down if you're eHug, you can then go into that and try and do it. So the ultimate is down, they can't scout it out, Jiggle Billy gets in there, Amp is applied, and top 5 is nowhere close to them. So this is going to be a Roshan kill for eHug.
They haven't cared this entire game, though, which is interesting to me. It's going to afford an Aegis, but I think that top 5 has won the past team fights in a very convincing fashion, even while losing 3, which wasn't exactly a fully fledged team fight. There are basically instances where if you're winning, you just win by a mile in these team fights. There is no half winning in any of them. So it's mostly just a rout at that point, and I think that they understand they can afford to give away the first Roshan as Doom rounds out his BKB. Just used to saying route, I guess, but he's huge. His net worth extending 14K, leading for the Radiant side, not quite game leading, but Slardar's net worth is kind of inflated as well. Trying to catch out Batrider was Fly as well as the Puck. I believe Shanks also was looking in there to see what he could do. So 4 for top 5, not able to lock anything down. Still looking into items. Puck has had his blink for some time. Actually picks up Gem first because he recognizes he's not a necessity to get targeted out because he takes a while to get killed. So decent gem carrier, similar to what a Visage provides you in a team fight. You know you don't really care about taking him out because he still can contribute. And now actually able to catch out Fly is Jiggle and company. So they jump on top of 2, buyback immediately from Invoker. Venge trying to make something happen. 1, 2, 3, forced to use his BKB to its fullest extent. Can he get away though? EMP follow-up here is going to drain Jiggle dry of mana. He doesn't necessarily need more than the blink, but instead is forced to back off, consume some wand charges, seeing if they can manage to get another pick as Ryu is waiting around the tree bend. 20 seconds on lasso, no lasso, still force staff forward if they elect to use it. Stun on 2, Shanks in trouble. Shanks force staff forward, not able to get away, whatever, trying to contribute in whatever way he can, but 3 will go down here for top 5 if they can manage to finish off AA, who narrowly escapes. Shanks now buying back, trying to get involved, track up on him. Illusory Orb on the creeps, manages to miss Ryu and company, and now they re-engage again. Huge stun, 1, 2, 3 goes down. Zon, not able to weather the storm. Shanks sleeped up. Probably a mistake out of the team, but it doesn't matter. eHug on the ball now, takes control of this game, 22-19.
What was Zon doing? He had vision. This ward in the tower, it all provided vision. You had to have known that the team was there, and he walked up like he was just gonna creep. Oh god, it was painful to watch because it could have still been a good defense for top 5, but now they have to wait this 20 seconds for the rest of these heroes to respawn. And while I don't think eHug can get a tower, it definitely gave them a huge advantage in this game. Stomp goes down once again on whatever. He can't make it out there alive. With 3-2-1 rather is there. Throws out a stun on Jiggle Billy, but it doesn't matter. He gets out alive, still backing up. They're gonna keep on pushing this tower down, but it has a lot of health to go. And Doombringer's going to be back, and Invoker's going to be back, and I think it's time to back up for eHug. I don't think you should overstay your welcome at this point. The reinforcements are coming in. Fly, seeing if he can get anything off. He has a force staff, but he couldn't really quite get in there.
Yeah, definitely no need to kind of finish off. Jiggle is on the ball here with his LS. He was able to live as a result so deep into that fight, and they're actually feigning a fake back right now. Cake's leading the charge. Slardar looking to get in again. Might catch Shanks in 1, 2, 3, but they are wiser this time around. They might have forfeited more. Ryu still potentially looking for a pick. Actually, finally elects to back off, and move towards the high ground. Scout out a potential ward there as they had their. Do they have gem now? They do indeed. Where is it? Yes, it was on Bat. That's why he scouted the high ground. All right, man, I'm on it more than I even realized. But man, eHug throwing out a huge decisive blow and potentially pushing this to a game 3. I'm impressed at their fortitude to have come back in that way in which they did. There was a lot of buybacks spent from top 5, all for naught, and now the gold advantage as a result spirals way down in their favor. It was relatively even up until about the 22-minute marker, but 10 minutes later, if not 12 minutes later, we find ourselves in a position where they are just spiraling out of control. About 10 minutes, we saw the team fight. 12 is the aftermath of them just backing and taking out almost the entirety of top 5's jungle and asserting even more map control. And it's what this game has kind of become. They had almost no real estate to maneuver, and now they seem like they have all the time in the world to get things done.
Yeah, they're ahead by quite a bit. It's 23-19, which isn't a lot in kills, but the experience and gold are really far up there. Tornado's still chasing Ryu down. So really good Tornado out of fly, but couldn't really catch him just yet. And top 5 is going to start to get aggressive here and see if they can do some damage to this tower. So sick of having the fight come to them, they're going to bring the fight to eHug, and eHug is geared for this. And this gets scary. Ryu is already gearing up. He has the lasso available. Firefly, there he goes. He jumps on 3, 2, 1. Doom immediately pops that BKB. Pulls out 3, 2, 1 though. That's going to be his step. Case gets stunned out from 1 to 3. He goes down. A ult goes out. Doesn't really hit anybody though. Jigglebilly in the backfield is picking off all of top 5's heroes. And now 1 to 3. He's stuck all alone. Shanks is not going to be able to get him out of this sticky situations. 1 to 3 is tanky, but he's not that tanky. 5-man wipe for top 5, and GG is called. Ever.
Wow. At 35 minutes, like, no
Radiant's
barracks
bottom
down.
tower
They
is
just
under
want to go
attack.
ahead and call it because of,
Dire
just
victory.
2 poor fights. They know that they can afford to spend this game out. So we will head into a game 3 and try and get that started as quickly as possible. This is the second match of the week for week 3 in CEVO. 8 weeks of play before we head into playoffs. $5,000 on the line for Pro AM Americas. My name is Ever, joined alongside by Approve Attitude. You can find all 3 of us on Twitter at CEVO, CEVO, at EverX for myself, and at Prove Dota. We're going to get the lobby up and be back shortly, guys. Want to get this one on the road since it will